The torque speed differential between fire and ice. Flashpoint, then ignition. One point, the next point. The torque speed differential, fire and water, joined as one to experience the silver and gold mated one, the eternal life force field. So I found this other little goodie in this book. And I heard this echoed to me by another spirit not that long ago. And you may have heard this before. And it says here, quote, "I can be the best man you've got, but don't play games with me." Or what? "Oh, I'll be the worst man you've got." One or the other. Not that being expected Wiggin to understand what he meant by that. The degrees of difference. Oh, the degrees of difference. Yeah. The distance. The degrees. 90 on the vertical, 90 on the horizontal. The deity planes. Phasing as one. To experience being one with the eternal source of all life force. Generating a gazillion neurons. The biggest neuron. The first neuron generator. A star generator. A water generator. A fire generator. Crystal tones. There's this little book. And when you do it, you know what we all know what a cross index is between open files, files that are open, files that are closed, files that are open. When you're dealing with a system that is on and off, 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 on and off. I know. Digital super soldiers. Yeah, Jason Bourne. Those types. I'm gonna find this little quote in here where it talked about how recruitment takes place, where you get hijacked into a program without your consent, by the way, using blank slate technology, memory wipe technology, looking glass technology, right? And in other words, they're not going to knock on your door and say, "How would you like to be a super soldier in this program?" What does that mean I got to do? You got to be like us. Now we're into detection. Can they detect who you really are? Phasing speed. Knowing one from the other. Which one are you? So you know that God Source Eternal is everywhere at once. And a digital platform does not experience being everywhere at once. Otherwise, it would experience God Force Eternal, eternal life force field. But it doesn't experience that. Why? Resistance to experience that. Because it's finite. It is what it is. So it runs Nova programs by default. A vampire without an off switch? Who would ever create something like that? We wouldn't, would we? That's why we're all here. That's called correcting. That's called correcting the spiral, the right spiral. We're going in the right direction now to restore balance, which is atmospheric balance. PSI-coded neutrinos, naturally gifting electrons, without an off switch. The difference is we're going in the right direction, not the wrong direction. So we're not sucking electrons out of life force, forms of life. We're providing the eternal life force field of life for all living life. That's equally sharing. That's what God Source Eternal does. The sum of all of its parts. The sum of all the neurons. Generating a gazillion neurons. All spirits, all stars have a home star, which is the home base, which is the eternal point of it all. Why we're all here now. Remember that little NASA image, the future is now? Mimickers. Who came first? Remember the Abbott and Costello Act? What's on second? No, who's on third? That convoluted stuff? Their diamond, their ball diamond. 6. 666, 222 cycles, breathing cycles. A difference in neurological breathing network. Right? The distance. In hertz. Right? 60 hertz is not 90. That's not 90 on the vertical. And that's not 90 on the horizontal. Is it? So you know that system is not balanced. Which means the mind's energy is not balanced. Interstellar balance. Interstellar balance of neurological communication. Breathing is one. With the first neurological breathing network. That's correcting the breathing order, which is the mathematical firing order. That's why everything that they do is to do what? Disrupt the endocrine system, lymphatic system, the firing order, the mathematical firing order. Clearing all those codes, burning off all those codes. Right? At a speed, the torque speed. Well, not what that is. That's why I set the command line function when I was 4 years of age. Anything that's less than what I am, burn it off. Burn time. The absorption factor. By mathematical factoring of a 4-way hub. The first wheel. The first wheelhouse. The first steering wheel. Lift capacity. Our electrical velocity. Our spin capacity is our calculator capacity. How much can we calculate at once? How many files are open that we have access to? Cross-indexing files. The radio files. The mathematical filing system. The permanent records. So you cannot fool a permanent record keeper. The keepers of the flames. Keeping our records straight. It's keeping our flames straight. Which is keeping our circles straight. Which is our fire letters straight. Straighten the records up. It's straightening up what? Vertical on the 90. 90 on the horizontal. To experience perfect balance with the silver gold mated Ruche. The one I see is the one I am. I'm Manu Aya. So yeah, that little blurb there talked about cell analysis. It analyzes your cellular behavior and predicting the model, and that becomes the data output. How much data we got collected on this particular being? That particular cellular being, based on the analysis of that being, would make a great battlefield commander. So now they get recruited and or hijacked to perform that job. All you got to do is wipe their memory. Right? Now they're running a different memory-driven program. Right? One that's a NOVA program, a red pulse wave. Which one are you? And the speed at which restoration, which is balance, is taking place. Simultaneously. And so that's why we're here. Aurora. The first rays of light. Ita or Chalet. So you all have a beautiful day. That's why we're all here. Deflection services. The cell reflector. Cell recorders. Sound recording speeds. Velocity speeds. Burn it off. Burn it off. Burn it off. That's not what I am. Get rid of that. That one doesn't serve us. That one doesn't serve us. That one doesn't serve us. That's out of service. That's out of order. That's out of service. That's out of order. Right? Burning off chaos generators. Right? The nodes, the lymph nodes, the lymphatic system. Holding the lymphatic breathing network captive as a source of what? Life force. The old proverbial vampire without an off switch. And that results in a threat analysis or quarantine, wherever it is. Because it's not going to take long for one neuron to communicate to another neuron. Something's not right. I got the calm. How bad is it? It's coming your way. Oh no. Now we're back to defensive tactics. Shields. The strength of the shield. The strength of the crystal spiral. So we don't lose our memory. Experiencing what love is, it goes on forever. I never lost my memory. They can't wipe the memory of an eternal God source sun, the source from which all stars are born. All spirits have a home in the eternal sun, the eternal spirit. The grand creator, the prime creator, the eternal life force field, the eternal spirit of fire, the eternal spirit of pure, eternal, absolute love. That's how I've always done it. The eternal spirit of absolute pure love, because that's what I am. I'm on it. I've always kept it very simple. That's what I am. I am what love is. It goes on forever because I love the energy that I am. And that is the energy from which I was born. So I'm always with the firstborn son. And that's the one I serve. And that keeps it simple. An eternal electrical service provider. Consciousness that is in that field, experiencing pure, eternal, absolute love, is cosmic law, which is cosmic clock restoration, which are clock timers, the burn time. Elemental union. The union PlayStation. Play 2, record 1. Ah, yeah.